To nobody's New York. Key change! Maybe someday our show will get a theater.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the quadruple threats who wrote and starred in their own musicals.
She'd say, Jenna, you could tell a whole story with a taste.
Yeah. Number 10, Billy Joe Armstrong, American Idiot.
My name is Saint Jimmy, I'm a son of a gun, I'm the one that's from the way outside now.
In 2004, Green Day released American Idiot, a rock opera album capturing the unrest of a generation coming of age in a post-9/11 world. In 2010, the album became a stage musical that expanded on its themes and featured a few additional songs. During its run, Green Day's frontman and the show's book co-writer, Billy Joe Armstrong, played St. Jimmy, a reckless figment of protagonist Johnny's imagination. His presence sent ticket sales soaring, and he returned for the show's last 3 weeks on Broadway too. Who better to bring the soundtrack's raw energy to life than the guy who poured his heart into the music to begin with?
I was really nervous about whether I could do it at all.
He didn't want the press to come. He didn't want people to talk about it.
Number 9, Betty Comden and Adolph Green, On the Town.
And I think we thought of ourselves more as performers than writers.
Right.
Because we wrote in order to have something to perform, since we couldn't afford to pay royalties to anybody else.
You might not know their names, but you definitely know their work. Wonderful Town, Singin' in the Rain, The Will Rogers Follies, and On the Town. Comden and Green didn't just write some of Broadway's most iconic musicals, they also put themselves in the original On the Town cast. Green played Ozzie, a sailor on the lookout for a date, while Comden played Claire, an anthropologist with a fiery streak. Their duet, Carried Away, is a standout, hilarious number about how their big personalities always seem to get, well, carried away.
I leap the defense and knock a hole right through the screen. Carried away, I get carried, yes, carried away.
With their sharp wit and irresistible charm, Comden and Green left their mark both on stage and behind the scenes.
Try to act aloof and cold, but I get carried away. Carried away.
Number 8, Tom Jones, The Fantastics.
And one of them strikes a pose and he says, "Sir, the players have arrived."
We know what you're thinking, but no, not that Tom Jones.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
This Tom Jones was an American librettist best known for The Fantastics. In the original off-Broadway run, he played the role of Henry, the old actor, under the pseudonym Thomas Bruce. He kept tweaking the show throughout its incredible 42-year run, between 1960 and 2002.
So I had the chance to then do a little tweak, rewrite, and to try it out. And then we could see if it was funnier or more touching or clearer. And if it was, we incorporated it.
He even stepped back on stage for various revivals, once even taking on directing duties too. He also wrote the screenplay when The Fantastics was adapted into a film in 1995.
Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and callow fellow.
From writing to acting to directing, he certainly left his mark on the show from every angle imaginable. Number 7, Dave Malloy, Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812.
What are you most afraid of? The singing, the dancing, the acting, the accordion, the piano?
I swear, I am most concerned about that bottle and those books.
Dave Malloy wasn't just the brains behind the music and lyrics for The Great Comet. He was also the musical director, orchestrator, and for a while, Pierre Besukhov himself.
Pierre's music, Pierre is going through this epic existential life crisis, so I was just thinking of a lot of indie rock and kind of emo rock bands.
In fact, he played Pierre during the final 2 weeks of the Broadway run. The show, inspired by War and Peace, started at the tiny Ars Nova Theater in 2012, where Malloy also played Pierre. From there, it moved to a bigger space in the Meatpacking District before finally hitting Broadway. With its unique style and immersive experience, the show offered theatergoers something truly special. Those lucky enough to see Malloy in the role must have had an unforgettable experience.
Every line holds a memory of you and I, and the songs we used to sing.
Number 6. Sting, The Last Ship.
Show some respect on this deck for the dear departed. Gather yours round, let's be bound by the work he started. Save all your strength for the length of the task before us.
You probably know Sting from his time in the Police or his solo career, which has earned him 17 Grammys and a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2014, he brought The Last Ship, a musical inspired by his youth in a northern England shipbuilding town, to Broadway. The show featured some of his familiar hits, but mostly new material.
As a mountain of steel makes its way to the sea, and the last ship sails, and whatever you promised, whatever you've done.
Sting showcased the title song at the Tony Awards and later joined the Broadway cast as Jackie White for a limited time during the final weeks of its run. He reprised the role in Toronto and continued with the show during its 2020 national tour.
When we dance, Sting just would run alive.
Number 5. Harvey Firestein, La Cage aux Folles.
It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in.
We'd recognize that voice anywhere. Harvey Firestein isn't just a performer, he's a creative force behind the scenes. He wrote and starred in shows like A Catered Affair and La Cage aux Folles, winning a Tony for Best Book of a Musical. He also played Albin/Zaza in the 2010 Broadway revival. For Firestein, this story has always mattered because of its message of being unapologetically yourself and living with pride. That message was even more vital in the 80s, when the AIDS crisis sadly claimed the lives of many original cast members. Though times have changed, Firestein's powerful voice reminded audiences in 2010 that embracing who you are never goes out of style.
I don't want praise, I don't need pity. I bang my own drum.
Number 4. John Cameron Mitchell, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
But I can swear by your expression that the pain down in your soul was the same as the one down in mine. Hey, that's the pain.
This musical created a lot of buzz when it debuted because it dealt with themes like gender identity, body dysphoria, and sexuality in a pretty honest and direct way that was still seen as taboo in the late 90s.
It seems so strange you never knew.
Its blend of punk rock, queer themes, and raw narrative made it both groundbreaking and polarizing. Its creator played the role of Hedwig not just once, but 3 times. He first performed as Hedwig off-Broadway in 1998, then joined a star-studded lineup for the 2014 Broadway revival, and reprised the role in the 2001 film, which he also directed.
Like the rush of rock and roll, it's the sweetest days I've known.
No doubt he brought a ton of depth and emotion, helping the show gain a cult following. Number 3. Sara Bareilles, Waitress.
She's lonely most of the time. She is all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie.
Sara Bareilles took on the role of songwriter for Waitress after a little push from the show's director, Diane Paulus. Despite the daunting challenge, Bareilles took the job as part of her effort to step out of her comfort zone.
It only takes a taste when you know it's good. Sometimes one bite is more than enough.
While she'd always dreamed of being on stage as a child, writing a musical score wasn't something she'd imagined. Yet in 2017, she did both when she took on the role of Jenna Hunterson in Waitress on Broadway. She reprised the role in 2019 and 2021, with a West End stint in between. As the composer, she got really attached to the characters, and audiences could definitely feel her personal connection to the music.
I am on the path of exploring who my Jenna is. I mean, I think that I got to meet her as I was writing this show. She's a little scrappy.
Number 2, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Hamilton.
Every day you fight, but you're running out of time. You're running out of time. You're running out of time. How do you ride like tomorrow will arrive? How do you ride like you needed to survive?
Lin-Manuel Miranda's talent is something else. It's almost unfair for one person to have so much. We saw it when he played Usnavi in the Heights, and again when he took on the title role in Hamilton. Interestingly, for Miranda, it wasn't a question of if he'd play a character in his show, but which one.
Hamilton's like, let me be the Treasury Secretary. Let me do all this cool stuff. George Washington says, yes. Aaron Burr's like, I'm being very left behind. I want to be in the room where it happens, room where it happens.
He considered playing Aaron Burr. He does have some epic songs, but ultimately chose to play Hamilton. The role resonated with him, but it also gave him the chance to play a part that other casting directors might not have considered him for. And as the show's writer, he definitely wasn't throwing away his shot.
Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. I wrote some notes at the beginning of a song someone will sing for me.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Stu, Passing Strange. He originated the role of the narrator in his semi-autobiographical play.
You don't know me and I don't know you. So let's cut to the chase. The name is Stu. And I'll be narrating this gig, so just sit tight. We might play all night.
Jeff Bowen and Hunter Bell. Title of show. A show about two guys writing a show? Why not add an extra layer of meta-ness by starring in it too?
Hey, that's not a bad idea, perhaps we could use it. Music in a musical, how can we go wrong? We could ask significant questions. We could get important points across.
Bob Martin, The Drowsy Chaperone. The book's co-writer took his turn playing the musical theater-loving narrator.
Oh, I love this part.
It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents. Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica, please.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Richard O'Brien, The Rocky Horror Show.
Hello.
It's been over 50 years since Rocky Horror first opened, and fans are still showing up in costume, with diehards becoming an integral part of the show with their witty call-outs.
It tells you what to say, when to say it, and you'll know when to say, damn it, Janet.
Not meatloaf again tonight.
Riff raff, show this to your mother. Oh yeah, mother. Even words we can't say on television.
The show's creator, who really related to its themes of gender and sexual liberation, played Riff Raff in the original run.
I'm not a good musician, but I think that might be a strength because it stops you being clever.
Plus, his quirkiness was a perfect match for Riff Raff's dark, eccentric character.
The sun and night comes streaming into my life.
He played the role again in the movie adaptation, and came back as the narrator for the 40th anniversary in London and the 50th in Australia. Audiences continue to shiver with anticipation for Rocky Horror's next visit to their town, so we won't be surprised if we see O'Brien do the time warp again.
Just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
Have you ever watched a musical starring the person who wrote it? If so, how were they? Let us know in the comments.
When you were writing, did you think you were writing for yourselves? You were definitely going to be a part of it.
We picked those 2 parts, and we were determined to get those parts.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.